Britain is teetering on the edge of a political abyss. Over 550,000 citizens have thrown their weight behind a petition demanding a general election, and the numbers are surging by the minute. This isn't a murmur of discontent, it's a roaring, nationwide rebellion that's tearing through towns, cities, and even the heart of Labour's so-called safe seats. The message is unmistakable. The British people didn't vote for this, and they are done being sidelined. Sir Keir Starmer's government, barely a year into its tenure, is facing a public backlash so fierce it threatens to unravel everything. From Cornwall's rugged coasts to the windswept Scottish Highlands, from quiet villages to urban sprawls, the chant is the same: we want our voice back. Protests are erupting outside Parliament, in city squares, and in Labour strongholds where voters once pledged loyalty. For Starmer, this is a waking nightmare, a political earthquake shaking the foundations of Westminster. The petition, a digital Molotov cocktail lobbed at number 10, isn't just about numbers. It's a symbol of a nation fed up. Launched in response to a growing sense that this government lacks a true mandate, it accuses Labour of peddling promises they never intended to keep. Broken pledges, botched policies, and a brazen disregard for the issues strangling ordinary Britons, skyrocketing living costs, a migrant crisis spiraling out of control, and a creeping sense that free speech is being smothered, have ignited a firestorm. The petition's growth is staggering. In mere weeks, it obliterated the 100,000 signature threshold needed for a parliamentary debate, rocketing to over 500,000 and counting. Every time Starmer dismisses it, thousands more sign on, a defiant middle finger to a government that seems to think it can ignore the will of the people. What's striking is where the anger is loudest. Labour's heartlands, once impregnable, are now battlegrounds. Constituencies that handed Starmer his landslide are seething with betrayal. Local councils are reeling from protest turnouts not seen in decades. MPs are being heckled at town halls, their carefully scripted speeches drowned out by chants for change. The media, despite Labour's best efforts to spin the narrative, is amplifying the unrest. Images of British flags, placards, and thousands marching in unison flood the airwave, a stark contrast to Starmer's increasingly hollow assurances that he's delivering for Britain. The optics are brutal, and the reality is worse. This isn't just a petition, it's a movement. It's the sound of a nation saying enough is enough. Starmer's attempts to brush this off are faltering. His claim that this isn't how a system works reeks of arrogance, as if 500,000 signatures are just a tantrum to be ignored. But the numbers don't lie, and they are climbing toward 1 million. The court of public opinion has already delivered its verdict. Labour is failing. The protests, the petition, the raw anger coursing through Britain's streets, all point to a government that's lost its grip. History doesn't look kindly on leaders who ignore this kind of fury. When the people feel betrayed, when their voices are dismissed, change isn't just inevitable, it's unstoppable. Starmer may cling to power, but this wound is bleeding out, and it may never heal. Adding fuel to the fire, the government's new deportation policy for foreign criminals is being touted as a bold move, but it's little more than a band-aid on a gaping wound. Starting tomorrow, foreign offenders can be deported after serving just 30% of their sentences, down from 50%. Justice Secretary Shabana Mahmood claims this sends a clear message to those who abuse our hospitality. The government boasts of deporting 5,200 people since July 2024, a 14% jump from the previous year. But critics, including Reform UK, call it a hollow gesture. They argue that Labour's refusal to ditch the European Convention on Human Rights ties their hands, leaving the UK unable to fully control its borders. With foreign offenders making up 12% of the prison population, each costing taxpayers £54,000 a year, the stakes are high. Yet, Reform UK's spokesman didn't mince words. This is a weak government that lacks the guts to do what the British people want. Labour's upcoming immigration white paper promises to curb cheap overseas labour and tighten deportation rules, but skepticism runs deep. The public isn't buying the spin, and the petition's soaring signatures prove it. On the international stage, Starmer's clinging to relevance with a desperate grip. This morning, he reiterated unwavering support for Ukraine's Volodymyr Zelensky in a call, ahead of a high-stakes meeting in Kent with national security advisors from the US, Ukraine, and Europe. The talks, hosted by Foreign Secretary David Lammy and U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance, are a prelude to next Friday's meeting between Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin in Alaska. Trump's push for peace in Ukraine, including talk of territory swapping to end the war, has rattled the establishment. Putin's reported willingness to halt the conflict in exchange for eastern Ukrainian territories is a bombshell, and Trump's claim that we're getting very close to a deal has sent shockwaves through diplomatic circles. Starmer's insistence on a just and lasting peace sounds noble, but it's drowned out by domestic unrest. His government's focus on global posturing feels like a distraction from the chaos at home. The British public isn't just angry, they are organized. The petition, now a global talking point with over 1,200 signatures from the US and France, is open until May 2025. It's not just a UK revolt, it's resonating worldwide. Nigel Farage, never one to miss a moment, has seized on the 8,000 signatures from his Clacton constituency as a warning shot to Starmer. Reform UK's rise in the polls, leading Labour by 7 points at 29%, underscores the shifting tide. Even Labour MPs in marginal seats are sweating, with whispers of rebellion growing louder. The last time a government faced this kind of public revolt was 1979, when James Callaghan lost a confidence vote by a single ballot. Starmer's supermajority might shield him for now, but the cracks are showing. This isn't about one policy or one misstep. It's about a government that's lost the plot, a prime minister who's lost the people, and a nation that's had enough. The migrant crisis, crippling living costs, and a sense that Westminster is sneering at the public have fused into a perfect storm. Starmer can't hide behind platitudes or international summits. The protests are growing, the signatures are piling up, and the chants for change are deafening. Britain is in revolt, and if Labour thinks they can ignore 550,000 voices, or the millions that could follow, they are in for a rude awakening. The people have spoken, and they are not backing down.